Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to the GloCha and Partners side event to the UN Science, Technology and Innovation Forum 2024. The topic of today's side event is Citizens Science and Web3 Technology-Enabled Governance Innovation, Challenges, Mapping and Local Pacts for the Future. It's a hybrid event with a group of experts meeting in the UNEP early warning and data analytics branch in Nairobi. I'm here in Klagenfurt in Austria from IAAI GloCha office, and we have also several of our speakers joining virtually from Spain, from Slovenia, and from Mexico. So let me start briefly with a thematic introduction to today's event. The focus of the event is on global challenges innovation. And the logic is that the world is changing very fast. We have more and more extreme weather events, many global peace architecture challenges, society is disintegrating in many places. And so these fast changes and destabilizations are complex and interrelated, and the existing public sector institutions are struggling to identify and understand these challenges, the challenges that result from these changes in their local, national, and global sphere of governance. And so there's a need for governance innovation, and we have it on the very top level at the UN system level. This year, we have the Summit of the Future, where the UN system is looking how can it be improved, how it can be more fit for purpose. And our contribution here is for a solution, for a concept and tools that are building on science, technology, and innovation to trigger and to facilitate governance innovation. And these solutions are the challenges mapping methodology and the tool for grassroots citizen science-based data collection. And the second innovation that we are presenting here are local pacts for the future, which will facilitate, with the help of Web3 technology, the formation of multi-stakeholder challenges communities and corresponding resource mobilization, knowledge collaboration, and action and impact incentivization. And today's event has the function and the aim that there will be more solution providers, digital solution providers, researchers, and also on the ground citizen scientists who will join our effort and to build these solutions in a multi-stakeholder consortium. There are many activities that we are doing already with our Global Challenges Action Empowerment Consortium, GloCha. And today's event is part of the STI forum. We've participated also and contributed to the Science, Technology and Innovation Forums of the UN in previous years. And our event is also aligned and connected with the UN Civil Society Conference 2024, organized by the UN Department for Global Communication. It's taking place in Nairobi on the 9th and the 10th of May. And Shurabi, who is on the call with us, our youth representative here, she will build also some thematic bridges to this civil society conference. And the event is based on the long-term partnership with IYC, the International Youth Conference. It builds up on the memorandum of understanding that we have with UN Habitat Youth Program in the field of Web3 technology-based creative economy programs for urban youth, the Digital Art for Climate initiative that we've had. And we are also now in the process of setting up a strategic partnership with an MOU with the UN Environment, Early Warning and Data Analytics branch. And today's event is also draws expertise and results from the EU Interreg Central Europe project, JET for CE, Just Energy Transition for Central Europe, and also the EU Sparks for Climate Citizens Hackathon Championship, which Miguel will present later, and where my organization, IAAI GloCha, is the local organizer for the Austrian hackathon. And at the core of this hackathon are challenges, and therefore very fit to include this in today's event. We are building in Klagenfurt here in Austria a cross-border cooperation competence center for research, technology, development, and innovation. And we are there also connecting with competence holders in the neighborhood, and here, especially in Slovenia, in Ljubljana, which is only 85 kilometers away, we have very interesting partners we will also hear of. And we are also preparing now a challenges mapping paper for the Global Goals Conference 2024 in Utrecht in end of August in the Netherlands. And so we are presenting our ideas to get feedback and to have then also input to have a better paper proposal. And we have partnerships with partners in Slovenia, Kenya, Italy. And the agenda of today's event, we will have a welcome and introductory presentations by organizers and partners. Then we will have a presentation of the challenges mapping and local pacts for the future concept and tools. Then the colleagues of UN Environment, Early Warning and Data Analytics branch will present their programs in citizen science and also in community data collection in the One Map for One Humanity program, geospatial information from the whole UN system is there being tapped into. And then we will have experts from Slovenia and Italy. We will have the presentation of the EU Sparks for Climate Citizens Hackathon Championship, and then an outlook about future activities that are planned that are not only citizen science based, but also arts, entertainment activities at the UN headquarters in New York in September, and the climate conference COP29. And with this, I have now the great pleasure to give the floor to Shurabi, but Shurabi we have lost Shurabi. Okay, then let's go to Alex. No, Shurabi is also here. Sorry, didn't see you. And yeah, please, Shurabi, if you can please say a few words about your perspectives on science, technology, and innovation, helping young people to co-create the future, to have livelihoods, and to have a climate-safe future, and also the links to the civil society conference where you are on the board subcommittee for intergenerational and youth affairs. Please, Shurabi, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here. I'm genuinely really excited. This topic is something that I have been working on for a long time now, and I'm deeply committed to it, almost like dedicating my life for it. But yeah, just to get into Mario, thank you so much, Miro. Thank you so much, everyone. Right now, well, just to have like a little bit of context, I am the vice president of the International Youth Conference, and as Miro also mentioned, I am working in the subcommittee of the Intergenerational and Youth uh, for the UN Civil Society Conference right now in Nairobi that will happen tomorrow on the 9th and 10th. And as part of the Department of Global Communications Civil Society Youth Steering Committee. So just to talk a little bit about science, technology, and innovation, I think for now is crucial for accelerating progress towards the SDGs, right? All about climate action empowerment, fostering multi-level, multi-stakeholder governance, as it enables the data-driven decision-making. It promotes sustainable economic growth, fosters inclusive development. It empowers us. It empowers the people, the youth, through advanced technologies for mitigation, adaptations, and and
Why did you broke it?
sorry. And Okay. Well, just to mention a little bit about why it's important for youth to be there and intergenerational collaboration right now for the civil society conference. We have been in our subcommittee. We have been working a lot in terms of fostering true and significant intergenerational partnerships and collaborations through everything that we do. And right now, through technology, through the hybrid events that we have been seeing throughout the post pandemic, throughout post COVID, has been huge right now because not only we are trying and we are literally measuring through new technology, through new ways, through new initiatives, but also doing this in the sense of how we can make these platforms and these spaces more accessible, more inclusive for people that may not be there, that maybe not be able to go physically in person, but can still be provided through the knowledge, through the content, through these amazing and so enriching shared experiences. So, for all of these, for all of how science and technology and innovation works in our world right now and how it's empowered as well, we need to understand the challenges that these ideas and solutions also come with. It's important that we ensure that it's not only from the technical background, but also from the socio-ecological interdisciplinary perspective as well. It's extending how we delve into the ethical impact that we build within these systems so that we consider the factors of equity, justice, sustainability in every aspect possible. And from the youth, what I can say, we're working really hard and we're really happy from the International Youth Conference as we build the path towards the Summit of the Future now in September. We have built the Alliance of the Future. Um, with the different partners that we have as well. We're really right now working in the IYC9, the ninth edition, which is going to be in UCLA, which is strategically positioned alongside the Summit of the Future to be the crucial platform for youth all around the globe. We build the inclusive platform that is hybrid every edition every year so that every young person in any part of the world can watch the recordings, watch the lives in Facebook, YouTube, etc., etc. We have also gone through innovations such as the IYC app that we launched the last edition in September in New York as well. And right now, we're happy to mention that the conference is going to be in more than 8, 10 languages well translated right now, as we know that language is also often a barrier that we need to become together so that this knowledge is not only centralized in English but also in native languages so that people can also be um, empowered through their own native language without these limitations. But yeah, with this Alliance for the Future, I'm happy to mention that it's aligning perfectly with the goals of the Pact of the Future. We are developing and fostering the empowerment, this inclusive dialogue, innovative solutions. And I'm happy to say that we're also building through a youth declaration that will provide valuable insights and recommendations to this Pact of the Future that will ensure youth perspective that's well represented in the global agreement, all together with science, technology, and all of the scopes that the sustainable development have to come. And well, just to finish my participation right here, so that my fellow partners in the session can also talk and provide their really valuable insight, I just have to say that youth here is a really important factor. We come not as an experts as the senior experts may be, but we're here with a lot of enthusiasm, creativity, adaptability, and revolution within us, as we may champion for scientific and technological advancements as well as we are empowered through all of this capacity building and this critical thinking and problem solving skills. So my message here is to be empowered not only for the youth to overcome their limitations and barriers together, but to join forces also so that we can build and we can really engage in a significant and relevant intergenerational dialogue and collaboration altogether. So yes, thank you so much for having me here, and I'm happy to keep sharing and keep on acting. Let's commit together. We commit.
Bravo. Yeah. Thank you very much, Shirabi. It's so many positive aspects in your contribution and in your participation in today's event. Young persons, you as a female young person, taking on leadership positions. That's so much needed in the world. And you also looking into science, technology, and innovation topics as they hold so much potential for building a better future and engaging in the UN system, and also IYC with all those innovations like the multilingual presentation of programs. This is really reaching now groups of young people which had otherwise difficulties to really learn about the UN or to get engaged. So this is perfect, and thanks very much for being with us. And now to Alex Caldas from UNEP, UN Environment Early Warning and Data Analytics Branch, and is a very valuable and dear partner in our work as well. Alex, please, some introductory remarks. We will hear them more later also from about your programs. Just
thank you, Miro. I think you can hear me.
Yes.
Just to confirm that you can. So I assume, Miro, I will not give the floor to my colleagues immediately. So we will go for introductory remarks and then we'll... Okay, fantastic. First, a great word of welcoming from Nairobi. Karibu sana to everyone. The way this side event on the STI is set up, with several participations around the world and 2 offices, one in Nairobi, one in Austria, one in Mexico. And see, it's a proof of how we envision that science, technology, innovation can contribute for our common future. So that's my first remark, and a big welcoming to our partners. We just heard from Shirabe and the importance of the international youth, not only engagement but leadership on most of some of these activities to have real impact. So I think that's my second word is about that. We can build any kind of technology solutions, and today we'll be discussing a bit about citizen science, about the capability to use capacity building on citizen science for global environmental monitoring and early warning. But we will hear also about the use of technology such as geospatial and the opportunity to have the whole UN working on geospatial, and how that can accelerate the implementation of SDGs, that can accelerate, combined with the youth, can accelerate all these processes, but an impact in countries particularly. But my key message is, without providing enough of youth leadership in most of these processes, we'll be limiting our impact and limiting our scaling up of our initiative. So I would say from all the discussions, the focus should move from technology to people, and within people, the actual leadership of youth in most of these initiatives and this process. That will be my key message today, because my colleagues from the head of Global Environmental Monitoring and Early Warning for Environment, Dr. Risha Munangi, will be with us later, presenting how he envisions the future in this area, as well as my colleague Yigang Li, on the one, together with Candice, on the one geospatial and the initiatives that drill down to youth, to financing, on putting the one geospatial to leverage these initiatives. I'll close here. I'm very much happy to continue these debates and dialogue and engagement and partnership. As Miro expressed, we are building a true partnership, and we'll be always asking for our potential donors around the world that will be interested in financing our initiatives to work with us in finding sustainable funding for these big partnership that we are building together. I'll stop here, and big thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah. And as you are mentioning resource mobilization, it's part of our plan also that we will mobilize citizens' financial resources. Because with these challenges, mapping, methodology, and tool set, people will be able to really specify what are the challenges that are relevant for them, and build the knowledge base and the communities for addressing them. And in such a framework, with the challenges being near to the people, then also the people will be more willing and empowered by our platform to invest in building this knowledge base and database for challenges responses. So looking forward to chart new routes globally with your expertise and your networks. And now to Doug Reagan. Doug, may I ask you to join our call? Doug? Here. Okay, you joined. Okay, fine. Perfect.
Sorry.
Excellent.
Sorry. Partnership, right. It's a true partnership. UN Habitat, UNEP, you can never tell us the same. Anyways, we're only right next to each other.
Very good.
Which is a good place to start. I think that one of the partnerships, there's been some really great partnerships that have built this. One is between IAAI and UN Habitat. I think has been a partnership probably now of a decade, in which we first started out on kind of the youth engagement side and how we could, and we met up in New York at the ECOSOC forums and such. But then as we've grown the partnership, we've seen that the huge value in and how we can do that, and especially with the UN working with civil society. But then also another partnership that I think is incredibly strong is UN Habitat working with UNEP. Again, we bring lots of different things to the table. For UN Habitat, we're all about local government, localization of the SDGs. So we collect that data. We have less of a data side. We're a bunch of planners, architects, and people who are out there on the ground trying to make it happen. And what's the partnership with UNEP has been an amazing partnership, is that they have much stronger abilities and focus on data in a different way. And kind of we work the built environment, they work the natural environment, bringing them together, especially in an urban context. And that's maybe the next step, and the next message is, as we're moving towards the Summit of the Future, and as we're moving towards all these different components of the Summit of the Future, the Pact for the Future, Declaration of Future Agendas. We love all these kind of pacts and declarations. But what we see moving along that way is what we've seen is that we need to speak with one voice. We need to come to the table. We need to assure that the built and the natural environment come. And what we say, and at least in the UN world of UN Habitat, is the future is urban and the future is youth. We cannot, unfortunately, I think much of the UN system over the last 30, 40 years since its establishment has been very much what we call keep them home on the farm. So the idea is that everyone's going to stay in rural areas. That's just the way it goes. And what we've been proven is that that's just not true. Urbanization is a train, hopefully not a runaway train, but it is a train. It's happening. Even though Africa may be the lowest urbanized area on the planet, it also is the fastest urbanizing area on the planet. So when we're looking at places like in Nigeria, when we're looking at different mega cities that are becoming larger and larger, these are just happening, and we have to deal with them. We no longer can say the built environment's over here, the natural environment's over here. If we're going to actually survive, we have to bring them both together. The built and natural environment are one of the same environments, different sides of the coin. So that's the other message, is that we really need to bring these concepts together, and we really need to work together. And I think the last thing in this, when you'll see more of my presentation on this, but the last thing is that
my mandate, or my job, I guess, in UN Habitat currently, is to promote, advance, and advocate for young people globally. But again, what's unique about UNEP and UN Habitat is we're the only two UN agency globally headquartered in the global south, and we basically sit next to one another here in Nairobi. What's unique about that is that when we walk out the door, we walk into a world of 70% of people being under the age of 30, and about 60 to 70% of those being under the age of 15. So this is a youthful world. This is the future, really, of the world. And so we have these two streams. We have future urbanization happening. It's going to go, and youth is happening as the world, as we move along. The Africa and Asia and Latin America take up more and more percentage of the global population, and that influence is there. And what we need is, if we have, for example, if we're working here in Africa, we need to engage 70% of the population. It's the same metrics, the same equation that we use for women. If we don't engage 50% of the world, we're crazy, right? Well, you can't go and change that percentage. So when we have 70% of the world, you have to do that. So my last piece will be participation, and that's what my presentation will be on later, but I'm really excited to be here. Thanks.
Wonderful, yeah. And UN Habitat, especially also under your leadership, the youth program, doing great activities in mapping, and looking forward to hear about this. Yeah. So, and now it's a great pleasure to welcome Caroline Oko from the Center for Training and Integrated Research in Asal Development, Kenya. Caroline, happy to have you with us. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Miro, and thank you, everybody. As it has been stated, I will not overemphasize, but I'm a researcher. We focus on the arid and semi-arid lands because, again, much as the population in the south is mostly youth, also the most parts of Kenya where I am is mostly arid and semi-arid lands. Of importance to this event we have today, the focus on science, technology, and innovation, which is giving hope because with a youthful population, then we really must attract something which is close to their heart, because the future is the youth, and the youth brings something on the table. For me, my main interest is calling people to action. We need to have action for climate empowerment, and science, technology, and innovation to address the Sustainable Development Goals, especially focusing on issues of climate change and others. The strength is in partnerships. For example, GloCha has brought in all the players here. And for me, the main takeaway is that from the global discussions, we need to narrow them down to national and local levels. So as a country, we really look forward to tangible actions which will make an impact, and especially give hope to the youth, and also ensure that the youth run with the innovations and technology and the scientific decisions. That's why research is very important, because you use the evidence to make decisions. And when we have partnerships like what GloCha is promoting, then we are better off, because research is showing that we are far off the mark of meeting the SDGs. But platforms like these ones, we learn, we share, we act, and we narrow what is expected of us. Thank you, Miro.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Really great to have you in our consortium among our partners, and together we will develop project initiatives and also mobilize funding, so that on the national and local level in Kenya, knowledge-based solutions for sustainable development goals implementation and climate action empowerment will be possible. Yeah, and now we come to the next agenda item. It's the presentation of the challenges, mapping and local pacts for the future, concept and tools. The presentation will be done by myself, and I'm now trying to see if there is Hossein Hassani, my colleague here. No, but anyway, we have agreed that I will do the main presentation, and he will, as our data and technology development lead, then be available to answer questions. So we are co-creating the future with challenges, mapping and local pacts for the future. Here on the map you see the location of our headquarters in Klagenfurt in Austria, near the border to Slovenia and Italy. So we are an UN accredited civil society organization, association under Austrian law, and we are building the Global Challenges Action Empowerment Ecosystem, GloCha, with culture, technology, and organizational innovation as key pillars. The vision is to empower everyone, everywhere, to take meaningful and rewarding action for the common good, climate action, SDGs action. And the theory of change is that knowledge is the key ingredient, success factor, enabler of deep socio-economic transformation that we are needing to really have a climate-safe future and a good life for all. The challenge is to get from global goals, SDGs, Agenda 2030, Paris Agreement, then down to local action and impact. And there are several levels for this systemic innovation needed. It's new thinking, cultural innovation, innovation in the education system. But then the second layer is social innovation, public sector innovation. We need to bring those different stakeholders that are affected by a certain challenge in a way, in a decentralized way also, and to build the incentive systems for multi-stakeholder provision of global public goods. And the key field or level of innovation is digital innovation, and here we are focusing on emerging technologies, blockchain technologies, and there especially non-fungible tokens, which I will tell you a little bit more later. So the systemic need is to understand better global challenges. We have now as a framework for organizing the public sector nation states, and we have a location-based focus, but we believe that global challenges-focused public sector innovation would deliver very good results, and therefore a global conceptual framework and reporting standard for the identification, localization, and specification of challenges with citizen science and Web3 technology tools is needed. We have developed under the leadership of my colleague, Dr. Hossein Hassani, who is one of the leading data scientists worldwide, among the top 1% of scientists. And here we have developed a first version of this challenges mapping tool in the context of the EU Interreg Central Europe project, JET4CE. And so the vision that we have for this challenges mapping tool is that there will be a citizens and youth-focused global knowledge collaboration ecosystem for SDGs and climate-related challenges, which will include self-sovereign digital identities, taxonomy and ontology for global challenges, data management and analytics, a framework for unique identification of challenges, challenges ID-based challenges community building, a global challenges action registry for the identification, documentation, verification and certification of actions and impact, an individual SDGs and climate action app where all this data from the global registry is then also available for the individual, that an individual can build his or her specific SDGs and climate-related legacy with digital badges, non-fungible tokens, these certificates, and also new forms of social entrepreneurship. So this will be then based on the NFT technology. And this non-fungible tokens, blockchain technology, is empowering citizens and youth to become agents of change. And the different contributions that the individual is doing, also a citizen science report, can then be framed as a digital badge that people are collecting. And this collection can be organized as a game. And so we are making really this knowledge-based SDGs action, climate action, enjoyable and also income generating, and we can bring it into schools, and this is a game changer. And we've started with this learning about this technology, how it can be used for climate action, with the Digital Art for Climate initiative, where we've asked the creative community artists to submit visual art and video clips, animated art to address their understanding and vision of global climate action, inspire more global climate action. And then this has been, these digital assets have been turned into non-fungible tokens, and they can be collected and traded. So this shows now new forms of income generation possibilities for those who are contributing to the common good, different type of input. And regarding the global registry, here very brief information how we set up things for those when people contribute artwork. This is an entry in this Global Challenges Action Registry. When people buy this artwork NFT, this is then another level or entry in the Global Challenges Action Registry. And then this information about projects that are being implemented with the revenues from the NFT sales. And then there is certified action NFTs. And then between all these entries are relational information, and those who are contributing creative assets or also intellectual assets like a citizen science report, they will then be able to really connect and get attributed a certain action and impact created to their initial input. And so another potential application of the challenges mapping tool and the related Web3 technology are crypto stamps. And we have had a first conversation about this at our Digital Innovation Pavilion in Dubai with the UAE post authorities. And it's really game changing. This challenges focus, and then this NFTs based unique identification of action and impact and resources. This opens up a new world of action and collaboration. And this we are planning to bring also into schools. We've had last year at the UN High-Level Political Forum, a special event on SDGs learning, a presentation on how this kind of challenges mapping, NFTs-based climate action learning can be brought into schools, and really to make this climate education, which is getting compulsory in curriculums around the world, to make it more enjoyable, not depressing, not promoting any eco-anxiety, but really being empowering and enjoyable. And this Global Challenges Action app, empowering citizens and youth to become agents of change, is at the core of these efforts, so that people will be able to go in their neighborhoods, identify challenges, build communities, take action, and being rewarded. And we presented this content, the plans for this Good Life for All app already at several occasions, so I will not go into further detail. Here, just a slide about the JET4CE challenges mapping exercise that we had, the link to our first version of the challenges mapping tool, functions, the basic citizens engagement platform, citizens science platform. And the learning so far is that we have to really look at the technological part, but also at the social innovation part, and that this is always a learning process, and we have to understand that intellectual assets like these citizens report about challenges mapping are very valuable for the society and need to be rewarded. We can do gamification and many. And here also that the learning is that we have big cooperation opportunities with several EU programs, and like the EU Spark Citizens Hackathon Championship. We are also here in Klagenfurt in one of the EU mission cities, a mission for climate neutral smart cities. And there will be more bridges and synergies between the global level and EU level here. And with this, we come to the presentation of UN environments programs that are in the field of citizen science, geospatial information, innovation. And now I will bring to the floor Alex, Richard, and Yigang, and
I suspect I will not lose much time and give the floor immediately to Dr. Rishi Munang. He's our head of global environmental monitoring and early warning for environment. He will. So it's about actually talking about demonstrating how citizen science and the pitching on citizen science on these areas of global environmental monitoring and early warning, and then my colleague Yigang Li, as well as my colleague Candice Chung, will present more on the application of geospatial, the one map, and what it meant, triggered by the involvement of the youth, as well as including the pitch on the data side and the analytics side, entrenched in all of these. So over to them, and I hope you enjoy the live demonstration that they prepare for you.
I'm sure we will. Thanks. Richard, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for that amazing introduction, Alex, and thanks a lot for everyone who has joined in today. The conversation, as you've already heard, with the youth, with half of the world's population under the age of 30. Very, very timely, but it's always said with all the global agreements that we do have in the world today, it's best summed up in an African proverb that says, if you want to go quickly, you go alone, and if you want to go far, you go with others. And so citizen science is very, very crucial and instrumental, not just in terms of being a strategy, but actually complementing the already professional data collection, which can only help to bring impact to scale. And so with that, it becomes very, very important to look at the state of our global environment, because as we gather here today, the discussion on youth, very, very instrumental. They are living in an environment where the air quality, that the air that we breathe, to the waters that we drink, and to the ocean's health and coastlines, they are actually under siege. And therefore, as a result of this, we urgently need to address data gaps, so that at least as we monitor data to be able to close and drive action, we do so having all the gaps been closed. And this takes us now to the example of water quality monitoring, which is currently an aspect that the global environment monitoring systems under the early warning and data analytics branch of UNEP is undertaking across the globe. But what we see is that 75% of all the water bodies currently monitored are actually in 24 high GDP countries, whereas only 1% is in the least developing world, and mostly in the global south, with most of the countries in the African continent. But we know that it is estimated that the global environmental monitoring needs surpass $25 billion US. What does this mean? It means if we do not leverage citizen scientists, then definitely we will not have an affordable means. And to increase the temporal and spatial data collection, we have to bring in citizen science. And that is what the UN Environment Program, Global Environment Monitoring Systems, are focused on, leveraging the citizens science work to be able to close data gaps, to be able to ensure that at least we drive transformational actions on the ground. And we've done this across 5 countries. And in these 5 countries, the through the James Water program, where the focus is on monitoring water quality and responding to SDG 6.32 indicator, is very, very crucial. And we've done this in Malawi, we've done this in Sierra Leone, and especially focusing on the Rockell River, where monitoring of that and engaging citizen scientists have covered 34 sites. And these sites of the river catchment have provided information that they have actually integrated into the monitoring of the SDG 6.32. And more importantly, what is exciting is the Sustainable Development Goal 6.3.2 report preliminary results do show that the water quality monitoring as we speak today is actually further degrading. And if nothing is done, within the next 6 years, we'll have about over 4 billion citizens at the risk of health. This information has helped to inform the submissions of countries. And we have 2 countries that are leveraging citizen science to inform and complement data from satellites, from technological tools. And this is an example in the entire world that has actually happened from the James Water work. And it's resulted to an increase from 18 to 34 water bodies being assessed as we speak today, and a jump in water quality measurements from 354 to 694 annually. That is really an opportunity to showcase that citizen science data collection to close data gaps is urgent. But as we do this, one of the most fundamental aspects that we need to understand is that we also need to do the same for air quality. As we're speaking, we have open source data that is showing air quality data gap needs to be closed. And we're engaging citizen scientists working with students and young people across schools and installing sensors so that at least they can be able to gauge the air quality so it becomes part of school curriculum. And this is quite very, very instrumental. The second aspect is, as we do this, there is a gap because the monitoring is focusing at the mainstream. And therefore, the experiences from the mainstream, from water to air to ocean, have also come with an aspect that we need to cover, which is the upstream risk. Because the upstream state of monitoring, leveraging citizen scientists, is quite very, very instrumental. And that takes us now to an entry in an innovative approach, an initiative that the UNEP is championing at the moment called the Early Warning for the Environment, which focuses on beyond the coverage of just climatological and meteorological risk, that we have very well established early warning systems to now to look at the dimension of pollution, the dimension of biodiversity and nature loss. And it is in covering these aspects that the early warning for the environment approach comes in. And it comes in at a time whereby in the world today, we do have data at the mainstream. But to cover this, there are 4 aspects that we've learned from leveraging citizen science within the work of the Global Environment Monitoring Systems, UNEP. Recording air quality in the entire world, we have up to 6,000 cities that monitor air quality, that we know. But the air quality is at the mainstream. And as we're speaking today, 90% of global population still breathes air that exceeds the World Health Organization quality limit. So what is the implication? It means that the data at mainstream, though we have it, that is showing the quality of air not good, we need then to forestall where the problem is coming. And that is why monitoring at upstream is the new direction that we're moving into, to leverage citizen scientists to be able to monitor and give us the data. For example, across the world and in the African continent, citizen scientists in Cameroon and Nigeria are already being engaged to mobilize local structures that are accessible to people, like communal cooperatives, and they are actually monitoring upstream risk of pollution, like charcoal burning. Where is it happening? Waste dumping, where is it happening? Waste burning that is resulting to nitrous oxide, where is it happening? And they have trained actors who are actually determining this information. And they are also incentivizing themselves to then be able to participate. Because one of the things we've learned with the work on citizen science is that without a business case to incentivize citizens and provide trainings to them, it becomes very, very difficult, because then we might not always have the financial resources to engage them. But when we make them to see that the action they take, the data they collect, the activities they engage in can put money in their pockets and food on the table, then that becomes an incentive. And we have actually seen this in full swing, whereby communities intercepting waste at upstream are turning that waste into biogas. And that is helping them to come up with clean solutions that are fetching the money, like biofertilizer from waste, like biogas that is replacing dependence on charcoal. And one of the aspects that we've also learned in Cameroon to Nigeria takes now us to the third part, whereby standardizing citizen science data becomes important. In James Water Work and the World Water Quality Alliance, what we are actually doing is that we're working with Earthwatch Europe, and we are seeing that citizen scientist data can actually become instrumental when there is a unified standardized methodology. And this is being developed at the moment. Already Zambia and Sierra Leone, as I said, have used this methodology to engage citizen scientists. And leveraging this approach is the same thing that will take to upstream to be able to measure upstream aspects. And now with the advent of artificial intelligence, with digital twinning, integrating this aspect and this engagement with citizen scientists will become very, very important. That takes me to the fourth point, which is leveraging citizen scientists to complement technological solutions. As we're speaking to the open source data, whether it is air, that we have IQ Air, we have AirQO, we have artificial intelligence technology, digital twinning, the focus is mostly at the midstream. And therefore, midstream data must then be matched with the upstream. And we need citizen scientists, what we call boots on the ground, to complement technological data, to get the information, to inform and leverage simple approaches like WhatsApp, where communities can see waste affluent leaching from farms where chemicalized fertilizer has been applied, and send the information in real time that can then be captured to intervene. And that data can actually appear on a dashboard, for example, like the open management system, data management system that has been developed for air pollution monitoring that we are actually driving. It therefore means, with the lessons we've learned with citizen science, with the data that has been collected that is now being captured to inform the Sustainable Development Goal 6.32, what we need to do is that citizen science strategy, though it may be slower, is actually bridging environmental monitoring data. The fact that it is also accessible to the communities, and especially in the global south, should actually be leveraged and complement this with the professional data collection that makes use of expert manpower and with sophisticated technology. But what we're also seeing is that the magnitude of the impact of coverage that actually are cost effective should actually become the norm and not the exception. With this, we think we can make a big difference. Thank you very much.
Dear Richard, thank you very much. This was an excellent presentation, and it's really so inspiring to see that the concrete work that you are doing. And when I heard terms like business case for citizen science and doing the corresponding training and standardization of citizen science data, and so these are really such important topics, and that you are already working on it, that we have the partners from Kenya, Caroline, who said that she would work with us. So we have huge opportunities, and we will also work on a mobilization of the relevant resources. I firmly believe that we can be successful together, and thanks for supporting all the cooperative efforts that we had so far and for the future as well.
Shall we give the floor to Igang Lee? I'm amazed. I'm always amazed when Richard can build the bridge between actually implementing things on the ground in the global south, in countries. He mentioned several countries in Africa, from Malawi to Tanzania, Zambia, Sierra Leone, and actually the power to do it, to provide capacity building to communities, the participative approach that he was mentioning, and then linking these to the global platforms, to the early warning platforms, monitoring platforms for air, for oceans, for water. Always amazed. In this arena, let me give the floor to Igang Lee and to Candice Young, that will demonstrate more on the side of geospatial, one map, data, and the connection with the youth.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Jeff. Now it's good. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Wonderful.
very good.
Everyone hears online, and we hear you from here.
Give me seconds. Coming up.
Are you trying to share the presentation, Yigang? Because I don't see it there.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
Here we go. Sorry, it's a bit slow. The network is a bit slow.
Okay.
Can you see the
Here
screen?
we are. And will Candice join then from your computer as well? Or
Yes,
I think
she
that
will
was
join
from
from
Alex's
my
computer.
From my
Alex computer. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thanks. And good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Yigang. Today I will present the OneMap initiative, showcasing its role at the cutting edge tool for empowering citizens, especially youth, to collectively transform people, places, and the planet. So OneMap functions as the data service hub that integrates real-time data layers from over 40, over 40 UN agencies. It mobilizes collective intelligence to provide prescriptive and predictive data analytics through spatial computing and publicly accessible finance mechanism, ensuring keep the world on the review. The data layer covers 5 key pillars of the UN: sustainable development, humanitarian efforts, international rule of law, peace and security, and human rights. This strategy is to address emerging issues from these dimensions comprehensively, enabling a panorama view to effectively respond, prepare, and recover. To ensure the inclusivity of this data hub, 5 principles also upheld: enriching the data layer, leveraging citizen science, emphasizing local impact, establishing bottom-up voice channels, and gaining support from community of excellence spanning sectors. And acting as one UN, it centralized over 1,000 rich data layers from 40 plus UN agencies, facilitating access to real-time observational data, thematic analytics, and also integrated early warning system. So using UNEP layer as the demo, specifically on the sustainable development, which is the pillar 1, this platform offers near real-time air quality data collected by community-level remote sensing infrastructure, aiding national policymakers with early warning, source identification, and evidence-based decisions. And the rationale for introduction of this work stream, which is the OneMap at the STI Forum, is rooted in the crucial instrumental value of OneMap. It offers a platform for citizen and youth involvement, leadership, education, and empowerment. The demo I'm doing here today through this presentation will showcase 3 operational components from the OneMap, illustrating how it is systematically integrate and foster the citizen science. This comes one by one. Okay, foster citizen science, specifically engaging youth group to accelerate SDG localization across institutions, operations, and finance aspects. So start with the Start with the institutional level. The demo component is the geospatial community mechanism under the OneMap. So in this component, integrating citizen and youth group is one of the major goals, including youth-led projects being coordinated across agencies, UN-level media release, youth funding program, etc. So within the 40 plus UN agencies acting as one, we share the common ground that the importance of promoting the youth group in the UN task force. We initiated a job profile for young geospatial professions in the UN system, ensuring systematic quality control to support and nurture future leaders. And additionally, the GeoTalk serve as a weekly online community of practice, ensuring the map service quality monitoring, operational approach control, and consultations are current and inclusive across sectors, with a particular focus on input from civil and scientific communities. Besides this, the emphasis is on launching personalized mentorship to empower youth strategically, preparing them for future leadership roles. So the key message for this chapter is to create the window for youth with a broader UN network, rather than limiting opportunities with just the one agency, offering mentorship for launching their careers within the UN system. And coming to the second ground action chapter, we demonstrate how citizens and use the environmental geospatial situation room as the one map action hub on the ground to accelerate SDG achievements locally. Forgive me. So this geospatial situation room at the sub-hub within the UN geospatial situation room, marked in green, function as an information hub with the digital platforms and physical facilities to keep the local environment under review. It generates, stores, and shares early warning and solution scenarios for environmental hazards. It will offer facilities, closed service connectivity, establishing a solid foundation for the local use and citizens to utilize at the data entrepreneurship hub, workstation, and education center. So this facility, the aim to address the present challenge outlined below. The current data supply landscape within the UNEP follows a linear follow structure where 20 top management figures, let's see, the entity oversee the consumption of data by 4 billion individuals. This setup has led to a significant bottleneck, posing a serious threat to the effectiveness and equity of data supply. And this situation room, utilizing blockchain technologies like Web3 facilities, capitalizing the data sets, legalizing metadata, ensuring transparency, and mobilizing collective data asset from citizen science to institutional levels. This shift transforms the data supply chain from linear to circular data production and consumption ecosystem. So this enables the innovative hybrid data governance structure, which integrated the DAO management, which we call the decentralized autonomous organization framework, into the implementation architecture. And marked in red, it shows how DAO ensure the citizen and youth community ownership and distribution decision-making being guaranteed, it being protected. Each local situation room established its own resilient data ecosystem with input from the ground. So the key message for ground action is to empower the local community with ownership and decentralized decision-making to cultivate a self-sustaining data supply ecosystem. And in the third part, a resilient and sustainable funding mechanism is essential for any project. The call for action billboard is a key feature within the One Map platform we are creating for the youth and citizen communities. Okay, apologize. Okay. So in simple words, the call for action billboard invites project proposals using the One Map's hotspot layer to identify areas needing environmental intervention. It provides location, SIM, and funding details. Local youth and citizen groups can partner with international consultants to compete for the projects. This outlines the funding flow mechanism for the call of action billboard with the citizen and youth group highlighted in green. We can call it the Young Pioneer Fund. 3 funding channels have been established to strategically position the youth group. One is through the UN Spatial Network. One is through selected partner agency. One is from the donor directly. So selected youth group will receive up to 100K to 200K per project from the donor for initiatives in disaster risk and conflict areas. With in-kind contribution like free facilities and university lab support, the aim is to collaborate on 100 projects involving 100 youth groups across 100 countries. So to sum up, 3 key messages focus on promoting youth engagement at institutional levels, grant action, and funding mechanism, completing the project-wide citizen and youth engagement plan. Sorry. Thank you.
Alice, I think.
Okay, this was very inspiring, very insightful, impressive. Thank you. I've noted down very many relevant topics, and I am very much looking forward to exploring how we can join forces in this effort. One information, we have for our GloCha, Global Challenges, Action Empowerment Partnership, community youth camp booked from the 3rd till the 8th of September here in Austria. Capacity up to 100 people, and there we will bring our creators, our digital solution providers together, that we will work on our solutions and also develop entertainment programs, because on the 19th of September we are planning a concert and entertainment show at the UN headquarters will be the conference and part of the entertainment show, but then on the 20th a concert which we will also use as a fundraiser. And perhaps we can have there a joint program which we will put on the table to potential funders, and really looks really very well thought out, and we will be happy to bring our initiatives, connections and ideas to the table as well. Yeah, perfect. Thanks for joining this. And now to Candice, please.
Thank you very much, and I hope you can all hear me clearly.
Yes, we can.
You can present, I think.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. So Egan has mentioned very inspiring future opportunities and also visions within the UN system at an institutional level and ground level. And for me, I would continue with presenting some existing platforms that we could currently be in use and also be leveraged by people not only in the UN system, but also the wider civil society and young people out there. So yes, my presentation is on empowering action with authorized data, and I'm Candice Jung. So in this big data era, we all know that we have lots of data, and then we need to make things action-oriented in order to derive changes. And data is important, we are happy with it, but so that we can measure what we want to monitor, but that is just the first step. And to lead to action, we always have to know what young people's part is along this process. So, being one of the very proud young people, let's remind ourselves and also everyone out there that what we can have to offer. So we are the ambitious and also passionate people, being eager and urgent to make changes, because we are not only looking at the short political cycles. We also have fresh eyes and mental flexibility to rethink and reimagine whether what is happening now and what have always been done is really the perfect answer to the questions ahead. We have the creativity and innovation to find new solutions, as well as the adaptability to try these new solutions out and see whether they fit, and we could always tweak to find better ones. And last but not the least is the influence and reach that we can find like-minded people and to make the impact bigger. And of course, we have a lot more to offer. And so by involving young people, overall, archingly, we could have 4 new forms of partnership being forged, but also all along the process. First is to have more useful and new forms of data by rethinking whether the data we have been collected is efficient and also whether they are the data we need. And for the information, with our innovation and creativity, we could enhance the monitoring of the environment and also analyze the data more efficiently. And by such, with our technical acumen, we can give more innovative solutions, and these solutions would also be more fine-tuned with our perspective, let's say our perspective on the risk and probability of natural hazards coming up. And finally, it is to give more quicker action that would address our concerns and also having more widespread and impactful actions through our activism. So we already know that the youth can enhance such process, but how can this youth enhanced process be further empowered by UNEP? And now I'm showing some science, technological, and innovation examples to show this. And our presentation would be in 3 parts. So one is from data to information, secondly is from information to knowledge, and finally it's how it turns to action from the knowledge. So firstly, from data to information, it is about putting meaning and context to some raw data. We process it and transform the data in some platforms. We clear out the noises and also some irrelevant elements so that we could facilitate a wider audience to analyze problems and also make it easier to measure and visualize issues. So first of these examples is the World Environmental Situation Room, which is the WESA. It is a one-stop federated data system with open access, quality, and more importantly, it is validated information that everyone can use. And it covers information on climate change, biodiversity, pollution and waste, ocean acidification, and a lot more. And there are data at different levels, global, national, and local levels to support assessment and actions to everyone. If you all have a question in mind, what is the authoritative information about the exposure of Bangkok citizens to air pollution right now? WESA would be your place to go to now. And now let's quickly go through what we have on WESA, which we have data being put in places according to their topics, SDG targets to achieved, and also their geographical location. And more specifically, on a geospatial data-wise, let's look at an example for climate change. For drivers, we would like to know what is the global distribution of power plants if it is showing a similar pattern with the population change we have, and if the inhabitants, which is a climate change driver, related to the greenhouse gas emissions, which is a climate change pressure. Secondly, if it is for pressures, we also want to know what human activities stresses are placing on the environment and what is the yearly emission of carbon dioxide globally and on a map. And thirdly, about the environmental state, what is the global precipitation change related to the average temperature change in the last 20 years? And what is the average temperature of the 3 hottest months in the past 20 years, let's say? And we also want to see it on a map that what is the impact of the climate change? What is the different kinds of impacts? And also, is there any correlation between them? Let's say the average length of drought and active wildfire density. Finally, we want to do something about it. What are the opportunities for innovation to climate change? Where are the spots that has high potential for tropical forest carbon sequestration? Is it northern or central Brazil? And so WESA would be answering these questions. And secondly, it is about country profiles. Here I'm presenting it is a disaster risk platform, which showcases the background information of countries, their assets exposed to hazards in monetary terms, their risk of average annual losses in different climate scenarios, and also their ability to absorb, respond, and restore from these disasters. I'm sure there would be people thinking about which sector would suffer from the most economic losses under the worst climate scenarios. What is the number actually? And also how much of education in monetary value would be affected under the existing climate scenarios? This is a showcase of the platform.
May I ask you please to wrap up because we have several more speakers and time is running out.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And so we have just quickly looked at the information of this country, and there would also be a background for countries to think about the action ahead. And thirdly, it is to present the environmental hotspots platform, which is to quickly compare satellite images over time and also under different spectral bands, and to identify trends and correlations and patterns. For example, this is an example of Santa Cruz, which we can see the deforestation of it from 1986 until 2024. And by visualizing these impacts, we could already quickly identify actions ahead. And the second part is from information to knowledge. Here I'm presenting two platforms, which is the opportunity mapping tool for ecosystem-based disaster risk reduction. So this is combining the data on ecosystem distribution and also hazard exposure so that we can find a solution of where the restoration or protection of habitat should happen to protect the most number of people. So this has moved a step forward of finding solutions. So we want to know where exactly the restoration and protection should happen to reduce different risks like flooding. And the final platform that I'm presenting is the Ramsar Site Information Services. If we want to know which inland Ramsar site has not got a management plan that we want to act on, and also how many freshwater wetlands that are under the threat of pollution, then we can use this platform to identify and filter out, and then that would be an evidence-based decision for us to move forward. And finally, it's from knowledge to action. We have already seen that we need such a process to lead to action. And we have already also seen how young people could facilitate this process. And now, with the UNEP empowering the young people with such authoritative data that we get, we are enforcing the feedback loop to each step of this process, no matter is the data collection, information, knowledge gathering, and also paving way for actions. And when we are talking about the actions, it is talking about the SDG implementation, climate change empowerment, so that the young people could leverage the existing authoritative data. They could represent this data at multi-level decision-making processes. We have only mentioned mostly about environmental SDG targets just now, but not to forget that all SDG targets are interconnected. And with deforestation, it is also affecting SDG on hunger, poverty, and or education opportunities. So my final words is, with accessible and transparent authoritative data, young people are more empowered to represent these throughout the decision-making process at all levels, and they could also justify their innovative and creative solutions with such validated data. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very inspiring and insightful presentation. Thanks a lot. I've learned a lot. So now, before we go to our colleagues from Slovenia, Doug said he would present also briefly some work that UNEP has done in the field of mapping, and this is very valuable. Please, Doug, will you join us? Okay. No. Then I would suggest that we give the floor to João Pitacosta from the International Research Center for Artificial Intelligence in Ljubljana, our friend, neighbor here, just across the mountains, and really a big friend and leader in youth empowerment as regards AI in Africa, and many other fields. So please, Joao, take the floor and tell us what IAAI and you personally are doing.
Thank you so much, Miro, and thank you for the invitation. I hope you can hear me well and you can see my screen.
I can hear you well. The screen is not full screen yet.
It's not full screen yet, but now it is.
Now it is, yeah, perfect.
Okay, great. So, for the sake of time, I'm going to be brief. I'm going to talk on behalf of the International Research Center for Artificial Intelligence under the auspices of UNESCO, IAAI. And particularly, I'm going to tell you about an AI-powered, data-driven platform to identify and react on SDGs challenges, and it's very much in line with the amazing and inspiring work that we've seen today. Just briefly, very shortly, I wanted to say that DeclarActions is more or less a young, definitely young at heart institution, starting in 2021, but already with more than 1,000 registered participants and more than 100 countries. It's based in Slovenia, and if you don't know where Slovenia is, you surely know Italy, Croatia, Hungary, Austria. It's right in the middle. And it's built with connections to private companies, public entities, universities, governments, NGOs, and so on and so forth. With the director being the UNESCO Chair for Artificial Intelligence and the trustee of the Knowledge for All Foundation that is very active in the Global South. So from the beginning, our participation in projects that relate with artificial intelligence is quite strong, although this is a little bit outdated already. We've been part of several expert groups, ad hoc committees, and contributing to UNESCO reports and recommendations at many different levels. Also because our programs are very diversified, and as mentioned earlier, IRCA is serving a bit as a research platform on artificial intelligence and sustainability, where citizen science is from the beginning a very, very relevant priority. And so from high level to research, to low level research, we are more or less covering it in different aspects and different sides, with building partnerships along the way. Having worth mentioning the global network for AI competences, Nexus, that is putting together partners from all over the world to work on this type of problems together, because we understand that together research in AI for sustainability can be stronger and can bring us strong further. Artificial intelligence is going to be a key player for also on citizen science, although the research is slowly getting there. But there are many challenges that they're facing can go in that direction. And so the observatory that we are going to be launching soon, first stage, let's say, wants to from a first level provide to observe, let's say, the different aspects from that are collected from data on news, social media, published science, and so on. It not only wants to provide or observe the artificial intelligence impact on the progress of each of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And this being done over live reports, interactive data visualization, and so on. But also to provide the possibility, and I think here is some sort of like a feedback for the people that are contributing with data, with knowledge, to this let's say artificial intelligence action to Sustainable Development Goals, to the progress of them, and of course where citizen science have a very strong role in observing, in providing this data for people to explore themselves, to align, to contribute to the observatory, and so at 6 levels, right? The first level being the statistical indicators and how we're investigating causality over the statistical indicators and how they can relate with different aspects. We have quite some study on water sustainability and the pilot that can be consulted live, always in this idea of evidence-based policy making support. From the news, we are collaborating with Event Registry that has been in the field of machine learning engine for dedicated to news and news analytics, consuming more than I think 300,000, 600,000 per day news articles from all over the world in more than 60 languages. So to be able to extract and explore good practices independently, crossing the barrier of language, bringing communities together, bringing public the attention of the public to certain aspects together from this text and entities extracted from the news. The causal relations is alerts from social media. We have quite some recent work published, particularly on how this information extracted automatically from the news on the impact. Yeah,
May I
moving on.
ask you
Yeah.
in 2-3 minutes that we come to.
Okay. I will do that. Science is very important, and so we have an approach dedicated to extract these good practices and this information from science and empowering the citizen science, also bringing to ease the knowledge, the access to knowledge and innovation. Particularly the several aspects of models with using machine learning for forecasting, for example, on climate change, based on environmental parameters across 10 years in exploring Markov chain processes in states, in relations with states on that 20 years of data that is fed. Education is very, very important. So in the sense of education, we are bringing ease of education materials dedicated to several aspects of the Sustainable Development Goals that can feed the user. And finally, to close this one, boosting the innovation, we have just extended the Global Top 100 for artificial intelligence and sustainability to bring together the drivers of change in artificial intelligence and sustainability with projects, with ideas. Some of it could be those that are now participating in the challenge that we are having this month that kickstarted a few weeks ago on artificial intelligence for water sustainability in Morocco, together with UNESCO and the UNESCO Center in Marrakesh, that will have the let's say the award ceremony and workshops and panels on the end of the month, bringing empowering through sessions, through connection with experts, to building these ideas on youth, from which our colleague Miroslav was also part of. Thank you for all.
Thank you very much, Joao. Very great work that you are doing, and you have also the citizen science component. And really, when we collect all the data, AI can help us to make so much more, to have so many more insights, and also guiding people, then extracting the knowledge and information for advising people and policymakers, everyone, to take the right decisions. So perfect. Thanks for being our partner. And now let's try again whether we can bring on Doug. Sorry. we have now, as it fits, and Nena is now on the airport, having only a short time, but the connection to Ljubljana, to Slovenia, is very important. My dear friend Nena, a leader in emerging technologies deployment in Slovenia and the broader Adriatic space and EU programs. Nena, your words and thoughts, please.
Thank you, Miro. I hope that that noise from behind will not be very annoying. And thank you for having me today at the conference. Yes, maybe I will just continue what Joao was explaining. Because when we are talking about the governance of any technology, exactly now we have the governance on AI. I need to mention the role of OECD Observatory. As Joao explained, we have that IRCAI Institute in Slovenia. We are very proud of it. But on the other hand, the Institute Josef Stefan, which is hosting organization for IRCAI, is also very strong on the international level, also within the OECD. So now we ask ourselves, and we can take into account that one of the challenges for governance of AI is twofold. Okay, the first dilemma is: do we need a common global organization that is governing AI? And the second thing is how AI is enabling governance systems. And you were referring on advanced digital technologies. So I have to say that we support the solutions, the innovative solutions, how AI in combination with other technologies can contribute to stable and to open governance systems. And to enable that strengthening of the economy in the way that it optimizes the costs, the consumer or preferences and consumer, and not the protection, but consumer, how can I say, acceptance of that AI experience. So what is important here to say that we have on the global level many streams of the development of other AI and also other technologies. If we find the right combination of AI and the other technologies like sensorics, IoT, like a metaverse, for example, if we take into account the data, which is very important power for AI, we can create a kind of a governance system that can serve to the economy and to the society as well. We are a lot talking about the responsible AI. So what is there behind? We know that data which are somehow covered by AI is not protected. We cannot be sure how quality level we get into the system, and we do not have some catalyzers of the data. So what we need here to address while we develop the technology are also the standards. I have to say that we are working a lot within that international organization for trusted-based activities. It's INADBA. We established a working group, blockchain and AI, and we launched the position paper. I can also share it with you, Miro, and you share it with the audience, in which we describe what are the positive pros and what are the cons which can be solved within the development of AI technology. The other thing is that how we probably know that in the recent time, AI is typically centralized solution for data treatment, for data structuring, for data creation. In the recent time, we started with the development of different solutions, how to decentralized AI governance. So we are probably familiar with the agents, with the co-pilots, or actually the agent as ChatGPT, who can increase the consumer experience of AI, but we can still not prove that that data that are coming through ChatGPT is verifiable, is trust-based, and it's verified. So for this, we need also blockchain technology that solves a lot of the problem with that AI question of quality of data. The other thing is that, yes, we probably need a lot of the time and a lot of data for deep learning and machine learning. We need to teach the machines how to learn the data, how to record and verify the data. And for this, we also have blockchain technology here to help us. And the third point is that there is a question of ethics, a question of the personal data, biometrical data, and everything like this. AI Act, which was adopted by European Commission last month, puts a lot of attention to ethics in AI. But on the other hand, we again have here blockchain technology which can support, which can provide that ethical solutions through the how can I say, social value proposition, through accuracy of data, through authentication, through democratization, through immutability, and verification of the data. So there are some solutions. It's not important only to have an institution to govern the data, the AI on the global level, but it's also needs to be developed technological solutions for optimized governance of the data through AI technology. And
Thank you very much,
from my
Nina.
side. Yeah, thank you very much. If you have any other question, well, just let me.
Yeah. And for the context also, our audience to know that we are working on this topic, emerging technologies for climate and SDGs, already for years. And we've been together at the climate conference COP28 in Dubai, very successfully have had events in the green zone at the Slovenian pavilion and in the blue zone in our digital innovation pavilion. And we have conversations now also to see how we can promote this topic and international cooperation on these topics in the context of the forthcoming climate conferences. And I count also on you that we will be together in September in New York, and to tap also in the fact that Slovenia is now a member of the non-permanent member of the Security Council, and there are also challenges mapping, identifying early warning signals early. This will be something that we can work together. Thank you very much, Nena, for being with us. And now really back to Doug, as we've said, that he has something important to share. And then we have still two more presentations. Miguel and Domenico, please bear with us that I think there are so interesting contributions that it's certainly worth staying a little bit longer on the call. Doug, please.
I'm here, I think.
Yes, and we see you.
Good.
Yes.
So I have 25 minutes, right?
25 seconds. Shall I play the video that you have sent?
No. I'll tell you when to play a video. 2 seconds.
Okay.
So I'm going to do two things. One is, as I mentioned before, I think it's the coming together of UNEP, IAAI, UN Habitat is a really interesting mix, because as you've seen from the huge strength in UNEP in terms of the data analysis, all the tools that are going into what we're doing around mapping. I mean, there were amazing presentations. IAAI is as well bringing on, even further out there with crypto and such, so and blockchain and so on. So we've got a lot of really great things. What I'm going to do is kind of bring a little bit to the table. Maybe my too many years of skepticism that sometimes technology is not always the answer, and especially for the vast majority of the world, and that's the biggest issue. So we'll start with the vast majority of the world. This is a bit of an old map. I think it says 2009, but it pretty much stands the same. All the like lovely beige colors and stuff, especially in Africa, demonstrate how young society is. It's an incredibly young society here. And then how old society is if you go up northern, the kind of the purple-haired older people. And then, of course, it's, Australia is thrown in there just for a mix. But really, again, we're talking about the growing populations, and if you look at the concept of like what this youth bulge, the demographic youth bulge, this is where dynamism happened. Africa has to come in. We can't leave it behind, and we do so at our own risk. And I think any mayor who I work a lot with, you talk with in Africa, in the African context, will tell you that it's a double-edged sword. Young people, if you invest in them, they're your voters. They do amazing things. You don't invest in them, you get the other side, and that's the challenge. Mapping's not new. Just let's be really clear. I mean, we've done map, and these things all turned sideways on me. But anyways, these are 3 maps we did in 2004 for Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, and what was the other place? Kampala. We did mapping, whereas we basically went out using tools. We're talking pre-Google Map, pre-everything, where people mapped all the different assets, what we call in the youth language, asset-based. It's called asset-based community development, which basically not assets as in financial, but social assets. So you're mapping what's good for your community. And this is a really important thing of doing, especially if you're working with marginalized communities, because development oftentimes is what is your need? What is the hole you have? And you spend the rest of your life and lifetimes of other people filling that hole. It's just endless. But every community, I don't care if you're in Kakuma, in the camps in northern Kenya, or if you're in Mathare, they have assets, and you have to build from there. And that's what this, and so this mapping, just to give you a really thing, this is 2009. I sat on the board of Map Kibera, was the kind of predecessor to a lot of the stuff that happened here in Kenya. Kenya is incredibly advanced in terms of technology, understanding of mapping and such. Been around for a long time. This is what Kibera looked like in 2009. From a planner perspective and from a city perspective, this is a informal settlement. Informal meaning we don't think there's anything there. It's just informal. This is 2010, where young people were trained, again, very low technology, usually cell phones, sometimes paper mapping, where they were able to actually put in all these things that weren't there. I mean, again, you go back here, this was just an...
We can't hear you, Doug.
And held historically.
Okay, now
what was that?
It's fine. Now we hear you again. I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I've got a few minutes. Anyway, so what you have is an incredibly in-depth and a narrative. This is the next part. Mapping is not only data. Mapping is the story. It tells the story of your community. And unfortunately, in a colonial period, starting way back in the 1600s, when people would go out and they'd map over people's histories. So suddenly they changed that mountain, which was a historical mountain and had was amazing for many, like I was in Ecuador in a place called Otavalo, and they have these amazing maps that are, what are you going to do?
As a Portuguese, I'm ready.
And so you have this beautiful mountain that oversees things that is kind of a god to them, but then it's been named something like Mount whatever colonial guy owned it. So I mean, these are the things that we have to know is with mapping. So we did mapping. This was in Kibera in 2012, where we did a big thing called Map Kibera, which we mapped 15 different types of maps. This is a security map that was done and such. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to do a really quick video by permission. Can I do 1 minute? Miro? I'll do 1 minute. So just wanted to show, this is mapping that we There we go.
I can start the video.
I've got the video here. So this is what we did in a Mathari, which is all over the front page of every newspaper globally right now as the ground zero of these floods. We trained during COVID in 2020. They came to us in March and said, we have to do something now. What can we do? And we said, okay, we'll set up an emergency coalition. We started doing within 2 years, we'd done 2.5 million hand washes, 20,000 masks, a huge mural campaign, and we collected data. And that's where, so this is just to give you a really quick idea on this.
Doug, we cannot see the video when it's on your laptop. I will start it here.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
So what the young people are trying to do is just to map out the different facilities open to them during this corona pandemic period. So we are trying to look at the hand washing station, the water points, the toilet, the hospitals, and just see whether they are functioning or not functioning.
The mapping will also support and help the government and UN Habitat and other institutions that are coming on board to support the community.
So,
Yeah, it's unmuted.
You are unmuted. You can speak now, but please come to an end. We have to get.
I've got 10 minutes. I'm good. So I think what I want, kind of the message I want to bring back is we have to remember two things. One is that the vast majority of the world doesn't have access to a lot of the tools we have, and we have to find a way to spread that. So we can't continue to breach and create a mass, even further divide with AI. We really have to be aware, and we have to ground truth and test and do this. And from my perspective in UN Habitat, which is a mandate of cities, we are informal settlements and slums. If I can make it work in Mathari, and what we can talk about at a later time, is what we're trying to do is take this coalition that we created for COVID and now create it for the other emergency, which is flooding. And we've basically gone back to all the major donors and said, hey, we did it once, we proved it, we've actually written it up, and I can send an article we wrote how we did it, and let's do it again. And this is, the amazing stuff that I saw about the hubs you were talking about, the data hubs and all these kind of things, where we need them is the most at-risk communities. We don't need them in the middle of New York. Yeah. So, I mean, they may have the largest voice. We need them in the middle of Mathari, because that tells us, especially for climate change, who are the most vulnerable, who is going to, like when we're looking at flooding in Runda, our very rich enclave just outside of the UN camp, there's some really bad things that have happened. Flooding in Mathari, is catastrophic. And what's happened is that, just really quickly, Miran, you're getting angry, but really quickly, what happens though for communities that are hit by this is people think, oh my God, well, what they're going to have to rebuild. Well, they do. They stay there, even though with what we're seeing with climate change, because this is a recurring thing, which I don't think people understand. So they will come, and what communities want to do is they always want to go home. They always want to go home, but unfortunately, their home is going to be so degraded that what we're probably looking at over the next 10 years is mass migration. So the people who 60% of the population in Nairobi are going to move, and they're going to go somewhere, and we don't know where they're going. But what that disruption brings about is everything, violence and the whole 9 yards. So we really have to look at that. And so that's what I think for me, just trying to ground to say, yes, the tools are there. And I think I've never seen the ability to merge and use the tools because they're so easy now. But we have to make sure that they work with the most marginalized populations. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Doug. Thanks for being such a great partner through all the years. And it's great that we are here together. And now we have two more presentations. Domenico, would you agree that we give Miguel first the possibility, because I've promised him that he would have finished his part by 4:45, that's 10 minutes ago. Is it okay?
Okay.
Fine. Then I'm happy to introduce now first Miguel Angel Garcia Fuentes from the company Parabes, who will present the EU Sparks for Climate Citizens Hackathon Championship, which we are a proud partner of. Miguel, will you try to share from your screen, your computer, or shall I share your slides?
Yeah, well, I can try to share it. I'm sharing it. I don't know if you can see it.
Not yet.
Not yet. Let me check.
Okay. Otherwise, I will share.
Is it okay now or no?
Now is something coming. Just a second. Here it is. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so well, good afternoon, everyone, and well, thank you so much for Miro for your kind invitation to be part of this event and then to participate. And well, it's been great to listen all the different presentations and the different initiatives that are happening, which are really interesting and really connected with what I will be presenting. So thank you for this. Well, I will be presenting the project EU Sparks for Climate, which is a project that, well, we are leading from Barrabés. We are based in Spain. We are a consultancy company, and we are dedicated to different fields related to, well, fostering innovation related to different fields, as for example, climate, and other different fields where innovation can bring a value. And we are leading this project in which we are working with a consortium in which we have also Energy Cities, Eurada, EXA, and Eurocrowd, in which we are implementing the first European Citizens Hackathon Championship. It is a project that is funded by the European Commission, and well, we will be implementing during this year this Citizens Hackathon Championship, which is a really interesting initiative in order to well, foster valorization of knowledge in order to develop new solutions that can contribute through engagement of citizens to the development of new solutions for climate. And the project is framed into two different initiatives. One of the initiatives is precisely this European knowledge valorization policy, which is basically in place in order to foster valorization of knowledge that has been generated through different research activities and projects, especially through citizen engagement, so through connecting researchers and citizens in order to develop new solutions and well, to contribute to different aspects that are relevant for the society. And the second pillar in which the project is framed are two of the European missions, the European Mission on Adaptation to Climate Change and the EU mission cities, and especially on the intersection of these two missions, working on solving different challenges that we have in these fields, in our regions, in our cities, so that we can contribute to them in order to develop these new solutions. The competition will be implemented in 3 main stages. We are now on the first stage of the implementation of the competition, which is the development of 22 local hackathons in different locations across Europe and also across some of the associated countries, in order to work on these hackathons that will be virtual during May and June on the development of these solutions. In these 22 local hackathons, we will be awarding 2 winning teams that will be those developing the best solutions, contributing to solving the challenges that will be proposed, and these winning teams will go into the second stage. Just a note regarding how the hackathons will be structured, and especially linking to the aspects of the challenges as we have seen today. For this competition, we are really looking for working on developing solutions that contribute to challenges proposed by the citizens. This is why we are asking in the registration process to the citizens to propose specific challenges they are worried about, challenges that affect their day-to-day life, so that the teams can work on these challenges. Once the citizens register and they propose the challenges, we have also a specific registration for researchers, and we will be mapping the different teams made up of citizens and researchers, in order to ensure that we can foster this knowledge valorization through the participation of citizens and the engagement of citizens. These groups will be working in the local hackathons, and as I said, we will have 2 winning teams in each of these 22 local hackathons. These 44 winning teams will go into a second stage that will happen in between July and September, in which we will deploy a dedicated training and coaching program for these teams, in order to sharpen their skills in aspects as, for example, project management, sustainability, intellectual property rights, and so on, so that they can further develop their solution in order to get prepared for the final. And then they will compete in the final that will happen in October, in which the jury will be selecting 3 winning teams that will have access to specific prizes with economic support, 5,000 euros to each of these 3 winning teams, plus some supporting activities, as for example, access to a crowdfunding campaign, access to angel investor network, to different tailored mentorship that can support them on further developing and escalating their solution, so that they can really have an impact. Beyond this, there will be also support for those non-winning teams, but this will be the prizes, those that you can see here in this slide, for the 3 winning teams of this competition. For the development of these 22 local hackathons, we are implementing this with the support of the local hosts, and here we have the great pleasure of counting with IAAI, that they will be in charge of the implementation of the hackathon in Klagenfurt, in which we are collaborating on developing this local hackathon, in which the teams will have the opportunity of working on the specific challenges relevant for this hackathon. So again, thank you so much for the collaboration here in the implementation of the hackathon. And we have for all the other hackathons, we also have the support of the local hosts that will be that are supporting on especially disseminating the call for participants, co-organizing the local hackathon, and supporting on the identification of the challenges, the teams, and so on. You can visit our website that we are periodically updating, where you can find relevant information about the location of the hackathons, also the specific dates, the information about the local host, and also you can find there. Let me just directly jump. Sorry. into the registration process. You can also find all the information about the registration process within the website. As I said before, for the citizens, they have to bring a talent. So in the registration process, they have to indicate the talents they would like to work with in the hackathon, while for the researchers, they have to identify the specific that they are bringing so that we can map this knowledge with the needs of the teams of the citizens that will be working on the specific challenges, developing the solutions. So this is how the process will be. You can find all the links for the registration process within our website. And I really encourage you to participate and also to distribute this information to all those that you think could be interested in participating, as it is a really interesting initiative in which the participants can contribute to solving climate challenges, but also they can create new networks, find new partners, and also get positioned into this relevant field in which we are working on these initiatives. So thank you so much once again for the invitation, and in advance for contributing, participating, and spreading the information.
Bravo. Yeah, certainly a worthwhile initiative, and we are proud and happy to be part of it. And information that Miguel and our team, we will have a call on Friday to discuss how this systematic approach to challenges reporting could and data challenges related data management could be also beneficial for EU Sparks and the future rounds of the hackathon. This will be great. Thanks, Miguel. And now I'm happy to give the floor to Domenico Vito from Milano, hubs in Italy and partner of the Digital Art for Climate program and many other activities that we are doing in the context of the UNFCCC process, and also sustainable development goals related activities at the UN headquarters, New York. So Domenico, a researcher, Dr. Domenico Vito, really a researcher and citizen science practitioner. And please tell us about your experience with citizen science, how to implement it.
Thank you very much, Miroslav. Congratulations for this amazing event that has been very inspiring for like the use of data for sustainable development goals. And actually, this is what I will talk in my presentation. This is like Domenico Vito. I'm a researcher at the Metabolism of Cities Living Lab and also founder of Hubs in Italia. And I want to talk today about an initiative that probably is using citizen science to collect data for addressing one particular problem, that is the plastic pollution. I'm not alone in this effort. These are my colleagues of the Metabolism of Cities Living Lab, the director, Dr. Gabriela Fernandez, and Carol Maione, that is a researcher at the Metabolism of Cities Living Lab and Polytechnic of Milan. So I was saying that plastic pollution is a great problem. And the problem of plastic pollution is especially in monitoring. We cannot even count the amount of plastic that nowadays are in the oceans. You can see here some numbers that are huge if you are thinking that they are referred just to yearly intakes of plastic into the sea. EU is doing great frameworks and like great legislations to stop the problem at the source. Here, just mentioning the Marine Strategy Framework Directive that is part of the Green Deal. But of course, it's important to understand that we cannot manage what we cannot measure. And properly on this, citizen science can give a great opportunity and contribution to the problem of plastic pollution. Citizen science, we already see, is the collection and analysis of data related to like the natural world that is done by non-professional, we can say non-scientific individuals, but that can be also used for scientific purpose. Why to insist and to work on participatory science? Because it's a way also to involve citizens into the loop, for example, into the policy making. It creates trust, it creates engagement also regarding the environmental problems. For example, for plastic pollution, but also we see for climate change, for several other aspects. We can say participatory science is also dimension of sustainability. We can think that when a policy is addressed, if it's not participated and engaged, surely will not last long. So that's why we can say that participation is also one of the sustainability dimension. And also gathering data from the local knowledge is giving a lot of information of the context of the so-called contour analysis of boundary condition regarding an environmental problem. And so with the use of smartphone, we have seen, and with the use of the data technology, is now possible to engage community in gathering data. Of course, there are several, we can say, also constraints regarding the citizen science. Of course, citizen science is one of the approach, because, of course, surely traditional data sources can have more reliability. Sometimes there are like problem of errors in we can say gathering the data, but surely it can the citizen science can give a help to traditional science, probably because it can gather a lot of data, and statistically this error can be overcome. UN is also using citizen science as an official source to measure and monitor the SDGs. This is like a picture that is given from the UN statistical division that is collecting all the different sources by which the data for SDG monitoring are gathered. And among them, citizen-generated data are also officially one of the source for this effort. You can see from this study that currently the 68% of the 93 environmental SDG indicator are lacking of data. But in yellow, you can see the potential of contribution for each SDGs that as the citizen science can give in terms of data gathering. Here again, regarding the we can say the contribution of SDGs and citizen science data for plastic pollution, here is a map on how the citizen science can contribute on different levels, on different of the goals of the Agenda 2030. From the beach cleanup, from the litter monitoring, we will see that in Metabolism Cities, we develop an entire framework to collect data from citizens. We started from El Astillero, a city in Nicaragua, engaging properly the youths in mapping and collecting and weight the type of trash through a simple activity, a beach litter. That's also fun. After the beach litter, also we provide a surfing competition. So we try to engage actively the community there to get the data, but also have fun. We did the same in San Diego, where we also asked which SDGs were more related to the, we say, behaviors that the citizens were finding more lacking. In Kenya, we did it in several places. Also in Italy, where I come from, in the southern part of Italy, and also in Venezuela. Just to let you understand what is the result of the citizen science, we have already seen mapping. We can create maps of data that without the contribution of citizens cannot be performed and cannot exist. This data can help to figure out policies, to identify hotspots, and so on and so forth. And also here another result of the data collection, we asked the people to weight the type of trash that we were finding, having a sort of data flow, material flows analysis regarding that particular beach. That's very important, for example, to address the policies. So why citizen science? Because it can raise awareness on environmental and societal issue, it can support science in scientific activities, and it contribute also in decision making. We did a toolkit on this. Just to conclude, I want to briefly, we now try to include also the microplastic identification towards our protocol. So join us. Our campaign is called From Trash to Treasure, Marine Litter Awareness by Data. So if you want to join us, you can just scan the QR code. And if you want to perform with us a beach litter, you are very welcome. And thank you very much for the attention.
Bravo, Domenico. Really a great example of how universities, NGOs, young people can work together to do something for the good using geospatial information and mapping. And we're very much looking forward to see how we can create synergies in this challenges mapping methodology development, and looking forward to see you at the UN Climate Conference in Bonn in June. Yeah, thanks very much. And now we are coming to an end, and here I will just very briefly mention that beyond these challenges mapping activities, we have also focus on culture, and we will launch a call for music and art in support of the UN Summit of the Future. We will start the call during the Bonn Climate Conference on the 10th of June. We are planning an edutainment and streaming TV platform, which will have also a focus on challenges related creative work, edutainment, digital solutions, presentations, and we believe that the streaming TV platform is now the enabler of community building with creators, with youth, with academics, with educational institutions, and with young people, with local communities also. So we are quite confident that this will be a game changer, and we will bring then our solutions also into schools, and we will have their activities at the UN headquarters on the 19th and 20th of September in the context of the UN Summit of the Future. We will have a festival, some kind of convention with our partners between the 3rd and the 8th of September in Austria. We have booked a youth camp, we have booked a cultural center, and so we will work there, hopefully also with UNEP on these resource mobilization proposals. And yeah, these are some of our activities. Here, my contact details, also a QR code to scan if you would like to join us as a partner. Yeah, and with this, I would say a great thank you. And we have some of our speakers. Of course, let me add to the stage Dr. Hossein Hassani. There was a technical glitch before, but a very important pillar of IAAI GloCha team. And Hossein, would you like to have some concluding remarks?
Sure. I was carefully listening and watching all the contribution from colleagues. And in fact, what they shared from citizen science or technology that they have used from various platforms, from Slovenia, from the AI point of view, and from to Nairobi, Kenya, another colleague as well. As you can see, all the data comes, but at the same time, the way and means and tools that we need to gather the data in order to significantly have the contribution from use as a bottom-up approach. I'm pleased to inform you that the IAEA is one of the leading institute and contributor in this field as well. You touch upon many of the technology from the tokenization, blockchain, and engagement, and we have already seen all of this in our platform in the IAEA GloCha challenging mapping. The mapping is quite important, but the mapping here that we are talking is just not mapping the country or citizen or group in a map. In fact, we are looking at the mapping in the broader terms and format, perhaps needs another session. To say short, we are very happy and glad to collaborate with all colleagues around the world, and also the citizen as part of our engagement. And the use particularly was quite important for IAEA. The testimony comes from the various documents that Miro has started many years ago, and meeting recently we had in COP, you could see that we're just not saying that to have the youth part of our journey, but significantly to have them part of our solution and contribution. Thank you, Miro.
Thank you very much, Hossein. I'm delighted, happy, proud, and grateful to have you as a colleague. And we are also grateful to our today's side event co-organizers. It was IAAI GloCha in collaboration with UNEP, Early Warning and Data Analytics Branch, UN Habitat Youth Program, and the International Youth Conference. It was held in the context of the UN Science, Technology and Innovation Forum of the UN, organized by the Department for Economic and Social Affairs, UN DESA. Meng Li, Ms. Meng Li was a key partner there, and also a warm thank also to UN Web TV team. They are helping us web broadcasting our content, and through this reaching much bigger audiences and having a longer lasting legacy. Thanks everyone. I hope it was insightful, enjoyable. See you somewhere in the real or virtual worlds. Wishing you all the best. Bye bye from Klagenfurt. Auf Wiedersehen. Srećno.
Auf Wiedersehen.